Every now and again, you go into a show not knowing exactly what you're getting into. With a name like Straight Title Robot Anime, you could be forgiven for thinking it might be a little bit off kilter, but what I got was something far different. Now, I will admit that when I see an advertisement for a robot show, I get a little twinge in my chest. Maybe this will be the next big thing. Maybe this will be interesting. Maybe I need to stop eating so many cheeseburgers. But just maybe, I'll be on the cutting edge of the newest Macross or Gundam coming down the pipe. I love the robot genre, I really do. Even when it's 50 Shades of shit most of the time. Why? Why do I do this to myself? So I popped this on without knowing what to expect. And what I got...
かつてこの地球に生息していた人間という有機生命体には笑いという独特な感情と文化があったそうよ。
長官は戦争なくなる。
Oh God, I'm sorry about all the sins, I really am. No, your eyes do not deceive you. This show runs on Miku Miku Dance. Yes, that thing that you keep seeing crop up all over YouTube with the weird animation errors and hair clipping through limbs and the like. This was put on honest-to-God television. This show has graphics that look like they were made on a PS2 and they put it on goddamn TV. And it gets better. It's a show about nothing. I swear this isn't a divergence, but there was an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation that focused around Data trying to learn what humor was. It's considered one of the worst episodes in a series whose quality was, to be honest, wildly inconsistent. And keep in mind, this is a show where a woman gives birth to a space baby that goes from infancy to death in about 12 hours. This episode, featuring then SNL star Joe Piscopo, was torture, and it clocked in at round about an hour. So what does STRA do? It tries to explain humor. Straight Title Robot Anime is 12 episodes of 15 minutes, and it doesn't even have pretty animation to cover up its abysmally stupid writing. This show lives and dies on sight gags because the writing is just not up to snuff. Essentially, 2/3 of the show is nearly unwatchable because of the groan-worthy Mad Lib style of writing. I mean, I know it probably took a whole 5 minutes with a Wikipedia article open to write these segments, but it feels like absolute torture. It's like being a stand-up comic and saying, here's a tedious lead-in to what we hope is going to be funny. Prepare for comedy. I mean, they are robots, so maybe this is all part of their programming to have these constantly repeated bits, but it feels like it was written by a machine as well as acted by one. The three robots in question decide that the best way to stop their big cousins from duking it out all the time is to learn what comedy is. Keeping well in mind that the premise is that humans aren't living on Earth 8,000 years in the future, they want to stop the war now of all times. We have Fuji, the maid robot, who has an actual mouth, Mori, the industrial bot, who talks like a robot should, and Kato, the other one. Fuji is the moe one, Kato is kind of a tabula rasa, and Mori is a cranky weirdo whose visor flashes up with emoticons. For what it's worth, Mori is the only one who actually understands this sort of comedic interplay between the three, but only because she's sharp-tongued and quick to razz the other two. And in keeping with the theme, it's not that she actually gets it, she's just a jerk. You know that old adage, don't explain the joke? Yeah, that's the main issue with this show. Is there some sort of kink that I don't know about for girls being horrifically unfunny? Because this show would be the poster child for whatever that is. And obviously, most of the comedy in this show that actually works has to be physical, because the more clever sorts of humor aren't really what you can learn by reading about them. So the robots don't understand humor, and apparently neither do the writers. Oh, joy. Where the show actually manages to become humorous, however, is in two places. The first is when they cut away to the very serious intro, except they've altered it so that everything is slippery or they've made all the robots dizzy for comical effect. However, this is a 45-second long intro, and you feel every second. Really, though, the best part is the clearly improv'd or ad-libbed section. Granted, it's all prop humor, which is a little on the gauche side. At this point, I'd do anything just to get a laugh out of this show. And unfortunately, the best part of these weird little improv bits is watching the voice actresses try to keep in character. This strangely humanizing effect makes the show a little easier to take. But if you watch this stuff like I watch this stuff, chances are you just skip to these parts anyway.
いや 家が小さいという気下ろしも楽だな。
ちょっと待って、猫という動物のトイレに家が生えてるってこと？
スコップも見て。
本当だ。
雪かき。
By the end of this 12-episode show, they've gone so far into the realm of the completely ridiculous that it's funny in and of itself. But this setup just took so damn long that my interest is pretty well shot. This show really should have just been interstitials for a TV station, or some kind of weird one-off video added to a DVD release. Or just a web series. After getting more and more meta with every episode, the narrator actually shows up. Turns out he's a robot too that's been watching these three goofballs the whole time. Is it possible for robots to be creepers? He takes them to a lab where he explains basically that they did develop a way for robots to laugh, but it makes their programs crash. Since the humans are dead and gone, that's basically it for existence on Earth. And in an astonishingly sour note, they just use the fucking program and the series ends. What the actual screaming crap? Never minding for a moment that this comes completely out of left field, how does this give any sort of meaningful resolution to what little story there is? Now, it's true that there's no impetus for them to make a meaningful resolution, there's no law dictating it, but it stands to reason that the point behind taking a show from concept to finished product is to entertain or make a statement. So if a show happens to do neither, doesn't that sound like a problem to you? So yes, this show ends up as a poor player upon the stage, full of sound and boredom, signifying fuck all. Really, the most tragic thing of all is that there is a little bit of actual comedy here. It's just buried in this miserably dull framework and endless prattle. Explaining a joke in a hurry can sometimes have humorous results, but scripting out an explanation makes it completely useless. And the way it ended was even more obnoxious. Why the sudden bout of nihilism? It makes the whole exercise feel completely pointless, and that's specifically not funny. If you manage to watch this show and feel like it did anything but waste your time, more power to you. But even as a cutesy diversion, there's just not enough here to merit watching. If you like what you saw, consider donating to my Patreon to get early access to all the new vids as they come out. And as always, thanks for watching.